Hello there. So in this video, I want to go over how to create flicker-free animations with AI. And we're going to use Stable Diffusion for this with automatic 1111 installations. As well, we're going to use some different extensions, including ControlNet for the properly pausing on all animations, and also EBSynth for the creating a nice transition and keeping this all flicker free. As well, I'm looking on some optional effects, so you can replace background with animations if you need it, or even more reduce flickering. So those is optional effect. But right now, let's go ahead and start with the workflow, how I done some of these animations. So before we start working on our project, let's see what the requirements we need to have it. And I'm working on the latest Stable Diffusion with automatic 1111 installations of UI. We also need to go and install few additional extensions, as well some applications to work on this. So for this, we're going to use the EBSynth utility. To be sure it's enabled on your machine, we need to go to the website EBSynth.com, and I will provide for you a link down below. And be sure you downloaded the applications itself. When you download applications, it's very small, teeny tiny. It should look like this, and we'll use that for our last step in applications. Next, you'll need to go to FFmpeg and download this application. It is required for the frame separations and for the combining final video together. One thing, after you install it, it would require you to restart your computer. Don't restart yet. We'll do this when we have it, every component already installed and ready to go, just in case. But just let you know, it does require restart. If you try to restart only Explorer, be sure the, for example, some environmental variables read it. It's not always work from my experience, and you want to be sure you restart machine itself. So next, let's go ahead now in our Stable Diffusions, and we'll go to extensions. Requirement on extensions, you need to have it ControlNet, install it, and I'm assuming you already have this on your computer. We use it quite a bit in our other videos, extensively, ControlNet. If you don't have this ControlNet installed, I will provide a link for you in the descriptions, so you can go and check very short my video about how to install ControlNet on your machine. Then next, what we needed, it is EBSynth utility. To install those extensions, we need to go to the GitHub EBSynth utility repository. Again, the link will provide for this. When you're going to the code, click on a code and copy HTTPS path. After you copy, go back to your Stable Diffusion, going to your Extension tab, install from URL, paste the path here, and click Install it. After installation completed, you should see Enable. After this, I will recommend for you to just click and check for updates. Be sure that everything is up to date. If it's not up to date, it should come up and says Update Required. Right here, you can say I'm up to date. Otherwise, I'll just click Apply and Restart. So after this, we need to go inside the settings. And inside the settings, Save Image in Grid. Be sure the option Always Save All Generated Image Grid is enabled. That will require for us when we work with upscaling. Next, we want to go to the ControlNet. And in ControlNet, be sure you have at least 2 or max models. Okay, I would recommend to have 3, because just if you want to play a little bit more, and I'm usually set model cache size to the 3, same as the size of tabs. As well, you want to be sure allowed other script to control file these extensions is enabled. This is necessary for the EBSynth access and work with ControlNet together to create flicker-free images. Okay, after we install it, be sure click Apply Settings, and you can click Reload. This way, all the settings that you modify will be saved. After this, I will recommend you to go, for example, image to image, scroll down, Be sure right here we have ControlNet. Click down and you'll notice you'll have 3 tabs available for you, which is nice. As well, you can just verify if you click on a script that is your EBSync utility is showing, enable, and you have options. We don't need to use this right now, so we can disable. And we're ready to start work on our project. Be sure you restart your machine for the FFmpeg to register with your system. Okay, our next step will go to EBSync utility, and we're going through all stages. Not every stage is required, and as we're going to say which one is optional, which one you can use it. But before we do this, let's go to configure and work with our system. For this, you'll need to go and create empty directory for your project. Right here for me, it's video 2 and demo, and I'm going to just click and copy this path. Next, when we're going inside the Stable Diffusion project directory, we're going to paste this directory in project. Now we need to put it our original movie that we're going to use. Here's a video what I'm going to use, and this is I shot very fast on my webcam. Here's a tips during my experimentation with everything about the videos that is may help you. The one you'll notice, okay, let me reposition. I have a background chair very close to me. And when we'll start masking, you'll notice that some cases, masks work very well, but if it's object very close to you, it may think it's the same object. So I would recommend for you to have it single color background. That will help for isolation and masking creation, as well no object closer to you. Also for the demo, and it's done actually on a purpose, you can see LED on the background. They change colors for me. I just want to see how well it will work with all this different coloring and every effect. As well, you notice I will just rotating my head around, change facial expressions and other things. You can perform the test on a full body, other things, but I think at this point for the test it was work very well. As well, I'm wearing the glasses with reflection, other things. So we'll see how this will work as well. So overall tips, be sure you have a solid background behind you. That will help isolate mask, and after you actually very easy can replace that background with any other anime, real, whatever you want background. So it's very easy to integrate and replace it. Okay, so now after I select a video, I'll take this video and put it in drag, and you notice it is selected and path is showing for the video here. At this point, we're ready to run our stage 1. Let's look on the directory structure, and you can see it's nothing, just empty demo. And what I'm going to do, okay, we're right here, just go ahead and click generate. At this time, it should extract all and create our mask. Actually, one thing before we done this, let's go to configuration stage 1 and just look at a mask, because I almost skipped that one. At this time, it also will create mask, and you can say transparent background. That's what I said before. You can have it also clip segment and combine them. For now, I will just use transparent background, and I also going to increase mask threshold just a little bit to help reduce some of this chair on the background. So this is kind of with our mask set, and it will be creating also on a step 1. After the process is completed, you should see this message stage 1 from extracted mask created completed. Be sure that message is appear. Even you maybe monitor inside your command prompt. What I notice sometimes it's no message come up in the command prompt, but operations still going, and it's have it this almost feel like it's completed, but it's not yet done, and you go on the next stage and you'll have it errors come up. So most likely that happened because its previous stage is not yet done. So be sure you wait till the message is appear in this box and its still stage is completed. So when it's done, what's happening, you'll notice right here in the demo, now we have 2 folders. One, it's called video frame. And if we scroll down, you'll see it's a 594 frames was extracted from video. And as well, it did create mask for each frame. Some is mask is done very good. You can see, but in some cases you can see right here piece of chair come up because it was very close. So just keep this in mind. In some cases, how I said before, you can see right here chair, it's replacing my face. So it is isolations. As I said before, you probably want to do this on a more solid background and it's not close to the background, so the AI can isolate very easy your image. Okay, but I think as example it can be very good, because many times what I do, I create non-profit condition with a abnormality like reflection, different coloring and other stuff to test how the system will actually work. Okay, let's go back now, and we're ready for our stage 2. If we look right here, it says select keyframes. So let's go to the stage 2, our configurations. This is important. Minimum gap, it's how many frames is a minimum can be, 10 frames. Maximum, it's skip between frames. So what is meaning? When you're moving your face position, body is moving, it's change. Each change is like keyframe in animations, and it can detect. Threshold, it's a how more sensitive to this to detect those threshold. What I found out by experimenting with different videos, that if you have too many keyframes, you'll have a lot of blending issues. So like right here, you can see this example. When I replace myself with this, it's no flickering, but you can definitely see right here, you see where is the blending happen, and it's because it was too many keyframes. In some cases there was unnecessary, like front face, we don't need keyframes there, but blending is happened because too many of the keyframes was selected. Or you can have it not enough keyframes, then you will miss it some position, and majority, what I say, go straight, left, it will be another, up, down. So all of this positioning, it could be keyframes, and system actually perform okay on this case, but I will show you how to probably select and add manually, and this is what I will recommend. But again, it's very, you need to do second step, so it will create special directory for us and other things. Now minimum gap, I would recommend depend on the speed, how fast it's going. If you're filming with 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second, so 10 frames it's more than enough in many cases for the smallest gap. However, the biggest gap, I will say go to down about 100. Okay, when we're done with this, you want to go step 2, but be sure you check stage 2. I did few times accidentally leave it on stage 1, and it's did again create all frames, create all mask and everything. So be sure we kind of progressing and select stage 2. After we're done with this, we can click generate. Notice also below you'll have all this information that was processed and options. So let's go ahead and click generate. As we click generate, you'll notice nothing happened. It's almost frozen. Nothing happened here. And even it's creating directory, but nothing happened in directory. However, this is one of those cases where I say wait, because it is still processing. If we look right there on our stage, is nothing done. And now it is appear. So this is one of these things when you need to be sure you wait till step is done and message is appear. And we can see right here, this is detected, it was 29, so it's 30 frames per second actually it was. And I have this gap selecting frames, and the frames is selected. So what we want to do is go back to our image. Let's increase, and I'll just make it extra large view. And you can see this is keyframes selected. It did not bad job. However, I probably want to add a few more to this. It's maybe not enough, or at least verified. And here's what I'm going to do. It's go inside the frame. Okay, let's go also increase this a little bit in a view. And usually I'm looking on where it's a change what I want to detect. For example, if I go switch, and you can see a head moving towards and a stop at this case, it's about frame 88. And if we look in this case on our frame 88, we kind of don't even have this frame. Notice right there, we don't have this 88. It's not there. So this is the reason why I would recommend for you to go inside and manually go over frames, see which one you wanted, and move them. For example, I think this one will hold down. Okay, which one are? Control, and it says copy this video. So we don't want to move. We want copy from frame to the keys. So just go over, select which one closer, and you don't necessarily, if you wanted, you can actually go inside the video key, delete all keys there, and just set up your own personal key that you think you need it. Okay, right there. We don't want to create two keys, but also I'm looking on a face. When it's go up, and you can see as I'm scrolling, my face go up a little bit. Looking up, now going down here. Just positions. Okay, we'll go this key. Closed eyes, I don't think it's will pick up that one. So we want to take this one. And of course, side one. Move on a key. And you can see it's moved all the way to the side. So I want to be sure I take all the way left, right, all of those ones. And now we go forward. Head little bit tilted right here. So I want to actually pick up the tilted head slightly because I don't think it's there. Think about these keys. It will take position and it will create frames between. So we need to have these points set for us. Okay, again, key that one. We'll go a little bit down, right here, a little bit lower. Okay, we'll select this. And now we have it, another key. And here's the interesting thing. We seems like have it front. This is not because we train model. This is keyframe. So if I look straight, it's one key. Look down, second key. Look again in same position up. That will be actually third key. So be sure you're not just looking on the position of the head. You're looking on the different between position down, position up. So this is what we need all those different keys to set. Same like right here, smiling, for example. If you want a facial expression speech, you will need it quite a bit key for the open mouth and other stuff. And I'm just going to copy this one. Keys as well. See, interesting things that I selected that already was kind of selected. So I'll just ignore that one. Sometimes you select same things that, and of course last frame, it is selected by default. In video key we have frame 1 and we have it last frame selected. So right here we have our keys. Okay, let me go just scroll down. Okay, and when we select it with our key, we're ready for next step, and that's what done. So now we can go on step 3, select key giving to EBSync. So we can go on a step 3 and perform selected. Okay, so we click on stage 3, and you notice now we have it information, and this is actually tell us what we need to do. We need to go to image, select utility now script, and go on a project, our demo, where we need to go fill up this all information, mask mode, and set all this. So we're going through all of this, but before, what I would recommend at this point, we need to be working on actually how our image will look. And notice it can work with ControlNet or without, but with ControlNet you have much more creativity, because you can go up to 1 point noise, so it will be very creative, but it's have it a little bit tricked right there. So let's go right now. We'll go inside the image to image, and what I'm going to do is select these keyframes that we just created. So I'll go select first frame, put it inside. I'm not going to use any script yet, but I'm going to use it ControlNet at this point. So I'll go enable one. We'll use the canny, and we'll set to about 0.55 for the canning. Everything else by default, with small exception. Of course, we want to go ahead and set our width properly. You'll notice it's 912, and I just want to be sure this is in 912 for the processing area annotators. Okay, next what I want to do is going to control second, and for the second I'm actually going to use it open pose. For the facial one, it won't use it all the way. However, if you have it full body, you kind of almost want to have this. And we'll just decrease this to 0.4. And same will for annotators. We'll set 912 resolution for the annotator. Okay. We don't need to touch any compositing because now I want to be sure what I created, it's what I wanted of the image. So in this case, we can start working with our prompt, and with our negative prompts. Okay, let me go ahead and copy paste from what I already have it. This is Cyberpunk Robot. This is my one, and this is my will be negative prompt. Okay. So this time, even we leave it as default. Notice I have a 20 sampling steps, so we'll leave it all this right there on the lowest sampling. We have it our width, the noise default, everything default, and we'll go ahead and click generate. Okay, so right here we have it our image created. Ignore background. Remember, we will have it removed with our mask. So I'm only caring about this person with a beard that is look, and it's look somewhat interesting, okay, but here's become a little bit buts. One, what I want to do to preserve a little bit of the similarity look, because not so many motions, I will reuse this seed. And I understand this generic seed, it's not related to the specific script seed, like in some other video I did it, but it will be okay to test. And now I want to be sure the consistency of the character. So I'll go ahead and take, for example, different keyframe that we have it before in our video keys. So from this video, I'll just drag all of these different, be sure the consistency between them are same. And we'll just go ahead and click generate. And because it is 0.75, I guarantee you that it will be total different looking characters. So, and if we consider, look right now, we have it glasses, we have it, it's a different looking character. Okay, it's not same as before. And if you're okay with this to change how the character look from frames to frames, it's fine. You can make maybe morphing or something to do. However, if you want consistent characters, here's things what need to be done to create a little bit more professional level. One, you want to be used model that's trained just for the specific character, because right here this deliberate model have a so big variety of different characters inside. It will try to generate randomly that. We need minimize this. Minimize, you can go and select different models. For example, like I have at my Geekatplay custom model I can utilize. And that is have just only one person, and I can apply it, and I know consistency, it will be only with one person. I don't need worried about this. This is actually very nice if you want to create very high denoise string. If you don't have this ability, or you want to use it some generic, then we need to minimize denoise string, so it will base it on image before. And in some cases I found somewhere from 0.3 to 0.35 work the best. It does not necessarily give you the most creative result, but it's give you good result that you can use it. So let's go ahead and try generate in this case. And we have a somewhat plastic head. That's what I'm going after to create it. Almost like if you remember this Headroom Max, kind of like that one. So that's what I'm going after, and you can see it's look plasticky. So now what I'm going to do is select all these different keyframes, generating them with same settings. Be sure the consistency of the character. Most time what it's happening, it's look like it's very similar from this point. However, the different it will happen when we putting head down all the way. Okay, and let me find this. Like right here, this one I think will be different. And we also need it when we move our head left and right. So this will be different as well. Okay, that one seems like consistency okay on this as well. Okay, and let's go move with our head all the way to another side. Okay, which one? This one I think image. So we'll go generate that one. You can try all frames. I'm just taking many frames, put on different, and be sure the consistency, again, consistency of the character if you want to create it. Stylization, custom stylizations, and custom models will help you a lot to have that consistency. But right here, I like how it's look. It's look very nice, metallic, kind of like porcelain skin. In some cases, we'll have a problem with the mouth not open properly, so you can try. Okay, after some experiment, you probably find the best prompt. You'll readjust your negative prompt, whatever you desire. Again, the noise strings, probably based on the model you're using. I do utilize same seed. It does help to the consistency overall. And when we say, okay, it's look good, let's go ahead down. And now we want to enable our script. So I'm going to enable ABC. The one what we want first, we need to be sure we have our project directory set. If you forget what you needed, you can go always to ABC utility tab and just follow. So in the image to image, we select utility, we set our project directory, and it's nicely because it tells us what project directory we wanted. So I'm copying this. Mask mode, we'll go in a second. Width, height, and all these additional properties that apply to the top. So it's meaning when we go right here, our width, height, you can set. I'm set same as the image, but you can set different that you have it. Steps, for now I'll have a 20. Remember, more steps, more detailizations, you will have it. The noise strings, TFG, I will leave it as default 7 to 9. Most models, it is how they train with this. The noise, my seed apply there. Control models, this is already tested. They should be set properly. I need to go ahead and copy and paste project directory. This is important because what is happening is well going to this key directory, and it will read from the key directory to create those files for us. Okay, next, we don't need this test. Mask with normal, it's what we have it. If I want to work with the background, I can invert, so it will be presuming on a background, and have it other ways we can do with this, or we can disable all the way mask, but I want to actually keep it background right now that way and put it mask on this, and we'll just leave it as default. Notice right here we have ControlNet options. It's a 5.5 for the face and for the weight, so we'll just leave it as default right now. You could experiment a little bit more. Also, you have a loop back for some images if you need it. Again, I'm just leaving everything as default. Okay, when we're done, we go ahead and click generate. Also, keep in mind that you need to have the image to image something inside to avoid the error. It won't use this image inside, but it's kind of required. Otherwise, if you receive error, probably you're missing some image. Just put it anything there. Okay, after it's completed, let's look what we have right now. And you'll notice we'll have an image to image key created for us. And we also have the images inside. Let's go ahead, preview these images. And you can see we have a consistent character. Look on different areas. Okay. When you accept it, and by the way, notice this backdrop, it's still masked out. So we have a nice mask out element. This is very useful if you're going in the future replace background with maybe like sitting in a chair in a spaceship or some other ones. So if you need it, so we can do that way. Okay, right here we have our animation done with the image to image key, and was our third step. This is step it's where involve ControlNet, it's involve motions, and this is important step because if you don't like the result that is happen, you can go back and rework on this by modifying. But general, if what I done before, if you take each keyframe, put it inside in your image to image and try to render before processing this, you should have a very good result. Let's go back now to ABC, our utility, and we're now ready to stage 4. Notice we have a 3.5. 3.5, what it does, it will create color correction. And we can see right here in our configurations, you can have it color transfer from the image or animations if you have it somewhere, or from the first video. And in some cases you want to do this, sometimes maybe you don't want it. In my case, I don't think I want to do this, and main reason, if we look, we have it all this lights is changing on a background and everything, so I actually want to have it this different neon lighting going on. But if you have it somewhere where you want consistency, it will transfer colors. Also, the applying color will reduce additional on the flickering. And this is very nice when you have people maybe sitting in a dining room or somewhere with constant light. Applying the color correction from first frame will reduce the flickering as well, color and light flickering. You know, as experiment, let's go, we'll do it anyway right now so we can see how it's going. And the nice things about this, because if you don't like it, it will save as a backup and you can reuse it. So I'm going to use it original video frame. Okay, I'll use it default. I don't want to upload reference image. If I upload it, it will take priority on this. So if I have any specific shot, and for example, if you go somewhere like you want to replace background with something done on the nature, then you have it, your HDR image, lighting image, then you can put it, this image inside the color matching and work. So we'll have it apply mask to result. This is happen when a background, if I don't do it's change colors on the background. But remember, it says I want my neon lights preserved. So I will say apply only to the face. So to this, and background will be untouched. It's when we have it mask. We can also reference, and if you need original, but in this case, we'll just apply to the result only. So we'll go color default. You're gonna, if you have any question on this color matching, you can just click on color matching link. It will take you to website where you can read the paper and see how it's work. Okay, so when we're done with this, we're ready for 3.5 stage. So notice I selected 3.5, and we'll just go ahead and click generate. Okay, so right here process is done. Again, we can go verified. You can see right here 3.5 done, and it's actually informed where's the created backup, where's original frame. So if we'll go to our directory, you'll notice right here we have our original, and it does change color on them. If you look on the character, don't say background should be as original because we mask out the background. But you can see the face have its same coloring and its reduction. Matter of this is look almost like the Anonymous, whatever, in the movie. Right here we also have it our backup. So in case if you don't like it how the color work or you want to adjust something, you just need to take files from here and copy them to image, override. In this case, you will restore your original image and coloring. Okay, so we're ready now for step 4. And step 4, it is upscale the original image in video. This will require to go to different areas. What we want to do is select stage 4 and click generate. When we click on generate, you'll notice it's come up with the special instructions what we need to do. This can be a little bit confusing. However, I'll take you step by step so you know precisely what to do. One, you remember at the beginning we want to be sure our will save image grid. And we done this when we went inside the settings, save image, and you enable always save the image grid. So this was kind of important to tell us. Okay, next, we also want to go to image. It's if exists this directory deleted. This in case if you already run once, because we don't have an image to image directory, we don't need to worry about the deleting. But just in case if you have it, you can delete if you run second time. Okay, next we will need to go to extra batch and set there. Things what we needed, it is our directory input. So let's go ahead and copy this one, and we'll need to have it our output directory. So let's go to our extra tab. We'll go to batch from directory select, copy and paste in our input. We can go back, copy our output directory, go back again extra, go to copy our output. Here on the bottom we need to go to scale to tab, and we'll put it 1920 by 1080. This is our 1080 progressive resolution, full resolution, and then you can select whatever image you want, upscaler you want to use. In my case, I'm going to use it Regain, therefore, sorry if I'm butchering the name, and I'm going to select crop to fit. So this is by default. When we're done, we can go ahead and click generate. After processing complete, you should have this grid with the upscale images. As well, you should have a directory called image to image upscale key, where you have this same render images completed in upscale to what size we need for the next processing. So after this, we go back to SB utility, and we're ready for our stage 5. So in the stage 5, if we look right here, you'll notice it is rename keyframe and generate ABS file. We need these project files to after going and load inside our application, our beta, and process from there to generate. So for this, we'll need to go to stage 5, and we can go ahead and click generate. This should process quite a bit fast, and you can see right here it is processed keys, exported files. Let's look on some of this. And you notice we have these files available. They will be in your directory. So we go to our main directory. This is our file. So let's open one and just preview what is inside. That is specific format file, but we can recognize we have our account of the frames and what we need to use and additional information. So overall, this is have it information of what frames to use it and reference of the frames. Okay, next we're ready for stage 6. If we click on stage 6, click generate, we'll just have this information what we need to do. And first time when I run, tell you true, many of this instruction was a little bit confusing, and that's why hopefully this video help you. So this is run ABC on yourself, select ABC file, all that stuff. So what we need to do, let's go to select the demo, copy just in case we need it. We're going now inside our file, and right here all what we need to do is just click and open. And as we open, we're going to our demo directory, and this is the 3 files we need open. We start first from 00, 01, 02. You can have it as many them. At one point I have it 7, 8 of them, depending on how many frames you have it, and most important, how many keyframes you have it. So we'll just select one and click open, and you notice as we open this, we have it keyframes. It's fill up information for us. We just want to be verified that our project directory is correct. As well, we have it our keyframe what is going and process. At this point, we want to go ahead, click run all. This will take some time to process, and after processing, we'll just go ahead open, and we'll open second file and third file. So we'll just process them. This may take a little bit time, and I'll show you when it's completed how it should look. But overall, just when we click run, it will be gray, like right there. And when it's completed, it will be done. Depending on the power of your computer, this task may take some time to complete it. So after you're done and you process all, in our case, 3 of those files that was there, we can go ahead and look what we created this time. And if we go in demo, you'll notice right here we have it, all of these folders, which each have it as frames created for our keyframe. You remember we have it 1 frame, keyframe, and 43 keyframes. So if we look right here, 143, 43 to 53, and that's what we have it. We have it 1, 43, 53, and depend how many files was between frames between each. So it will recreate those frames between each of the jump. Keep in mind that even if you have it 1 frame and 53, here where we have it 43 from there, they kind of overlap, and overlap for the reason you'll see there's blending little bit effect happening. So it's fine if you have it almost like look like duplicate frames, but those frames to help the blend between each frames. So when it's done, you should have it all the frames here, included our last frame, 594. At this time, we're done with our step 6, and we can go to stage 7. Stage 7, it says concate all frames with a crossfading. It's what will happen when they start blending together. And if we need it, we can compose. So let's go ahead. We'll select stage 7 now, and we'll click generate. This is again takes some process. In this case, it will be involve some FFmpeg application to process this, and this may take a little bit time as well. As it's processing, it will create temporary directory, for example crossfade, when it takes some frames and apply the smart blending between those frames to create it. You'll notice the files will create it, delete it, and process. How I say, depend on the size of all images, everything. It may take a little bit time, so you can take a little bit of break doing some other stuff if you need it. Okay, when your blending is completed, you should see this message stage 7. Blending rate is 1. You can change if you want less blending or more sharper blending to less rate if you need it. And there's our to export. 1 with a sound if you have any sound was there, or without sound. Okay, and right here our file, we can go ahead, click preview. It's done in 1080p. Notice our background is changing colors. It's smooth, nice, because we're masking, so it's like original. The image have it some consistency. You can see little bit blending. We can work a little bit better on that blending issues later. But general, this is interesting, nice test. No flickering, smooth, nice movements. Right there, just a little bit blending, and you can see right there was a little bit blending, so we can rework on this. As well, if we add additional keyframes, we can remove it, but this is general, it's what I do. I was looking on this. The next steps, it will be totally optional for you. So it's just kind of suggestions what you can do with this if you want it. And this one is to replace background. You saw we have the background, we have it only main characters was replace it. However, stage 8 is allowed us to replace images or video, so we can have it or a sequence of images or video by itself, or just one single image, we can replace it. And this is actually very nice and important step. Many times when you will start create like from motion to animations, you may want to capture character on a green screen. In this case, you do all this motion, you creating specific model, which you can use after to apply for this character. Next, you can create separate background and put that character on this background for the compositing. This way you can achieve most clear effect with the compositing. So what I'm going to do, it is a test to put a just single image. And for this, we need to go in stage 8. And right here, you can see we have it our source directory or contain images. You can have it just one single image if you need it. And what I'm going to do is just have it, this image was rendered with a AI. We're going to copy and paste the image. In image down it's 1080 1920 by 1080 resolution, so it is HD matching, and that's what I recommend. If you don't want it unnecessary cropping or other things, be sure you match the resolution of the creating. We want to fit link of the, this is also mask blurring on the edges. We'll just leave it as default. You can change if masking become too sharp or not cutting properly. So when we're done, we just click generate, and this will take quite a bit time. So what I'm going to do is again pause and come back when there's all the completed. Okay, and so right here we replace the background. You'll notice we have a sharper edge because I said the mask not to blur in. We can blur a little bit more as well. If we're watching, remember as a chair come up, so right here you remember this problem with the mask happening as well as a chair. But generally you can see the basic overlay that we can go with the background. Obviously if we have an animated background will look better, but it's give you some of these examples how it can be done. So if you still find that flickering persists, but you don't like it and want to modify another additional options, you can use it DaVinci Resolve with a deflickering node to reduce some of those flickerings. And I done this with some other examples, but let me show you just in case if you're interested. Right here we have a DaVinci, we import video they created. We're going inside the Fusion tab. Here's our median in and out, and we'll just need it insert one on a middle deflicker nodes. So all, if you're not familiar with nodes, it's just simple from left to right. In this case, we can just connect, place it in. We leave it as deflickering options, advanced control if we need it, but I think the time lapse in this will work because it's single frames. We can leave it as default, just going in the deliver mode, and be sure we want to output proper location. And I'll just specify where we want to put it. Let's go switch to MP4 for us. Leave it as default, and it's 1080, so I'm just going to switch to 1080 HD resolution, and let's go ahead render right now this video. It does not take long. However, if you use it multiple deflickering, that will take a little bit longer time. And what I was meaning by multiple, you can actually, if you think it's too much flicker, you can put it more additional, more and more. And this time we should have our deflicker right here video. Let's go ahead and preview. You can see it's much smoother on the skin. We have it less changes. Of course, the applied on the beard little bit change in some elements when it's applied. This is need be fixed with a keyframe when we work with this, but general it's very nice, non-flickering, nice image going. Apply correct glasses, reflection in the glasses, so you can see how well it's reflecting there. So I hope you find this video is useful. It's at least provide for information to experiment and create your own videos. I definitely will work a little bit more on this. I also recommend for you to check my another video upcoming. It does not involve that much production. It will be easy, but it's using different type of noises to reduce the flickering with different types. So it's a little bit easier and a little bit more on a creative part when you can go use that. Remember the main tips to have it even better result, it's creating your own model, train your own model on specific characters, create your own stylizations, and after use this to generate properly image or whatever you want to present. Thank you for watching this. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel, give us thumbs up, share this video. It's helped me growing with viewers, and I greatly appreciate all your support. Have a great time.